and they're not even giving me. I don't even get the cat. Ever since I moved the studio upstairs, nothing is working the same. So no countdown, no logo intro, nothing. It just started us off.
Let me see. Did I even get my notification that
I
you went
did. You
live?
must have because I just did.
All right. So, what's up, everybody?
It's ridiculous. What's going on, everybody?
Hey, your microphone. You got to move your microphone.
The
Let me make sure.
microphone's here.
All
Look,
right. All right.
see?
Microphone check. 1, 2. What is this?
Microphone check.
All right. Hey, I'm watching.
All right, you're the
I'm
you're the
watching.
one person watching.
As far as I'm concerned, nobody's watching.
Good.
In terms of like, oh, there we go. All right. So what's shaking? It's been almost a month now. It was a big gap, and
Was it a
then
month
I
since
think the
we did
last
our New Year's resolution?
I think we did it on January 8th because when I was looking for the link tonight, I was like, well, when did Dolph send us that updated link? And it was
Yeah.
January 8th. So,
Yeah, nothing's happening really. I
well, you
went to a
moved
few,
studios, right?
went
You're out
to
of the basement.
out of the basement, got the new studio up and running. I got a couple of decorations, but not much. It's
Uh,
sparse.
for the nobody listening, Dolph
It's
and I just went through his entire card wall, and I can tell that even though not a collector anymore, I still know
stuff.
I know my stuff because what I
Um,
get like about 80% of this.
yeah, with very little help.
Um,
Yeah, the one you didn't get is that one.
oh yeah, I don't
I
think
don't
I
think you
even
even took
tried
a
that.
stab at it.
So is that your oldest card on that board? I have a feeling. Is that
Yeah, and the other one I didn't add to it because I ran out of space, but that was
is that from the 30s, that card?
I think it
Okay.
was 38.
Oh, well, it's not DiMaggio.
Not to
It's
mention
off in
the
the
card.
shape of his face. I don't know who is it.
It's a Christy Matthews.
Okay.
That was a nice. Yeah,
Good.
it's
That's
it's a four. I think it's a four.
now that's an SGC holder, right?
That's an SGC.
See, I love SGC's holders for I actually like them for all, not just vintage. Like
Yeah,
because your Jordan's in an SGC too, right?
Jordan's SGC.
Yeah, it looks so cool.
The Rizzuto is SGC. Well, there's you can tell the difference. They just
Yeah,
have around them.
yeah,
They look
yep, yep,
really
yep.
good. But PSA, if you're doing resale, PSA is where it's at.
Yeah, dang, yeah. So what's shaking? So anything new of late? Any auction pickups? Any or
Mostly
you
sports cards. I haven't really done a lot of comic buying.
okay.
Although, no, that's not true because I just got my first Green Goblin on Comic Link. So I have been buying comics. In fact, I
All right.
bought I in this the latest Comic Link auction. I think I bought 7 comics.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know what I'm talking about.
So
Current.
there's been a bunch of stuff though since we so obviously the last time we talked was post CGC scandal reholder gate, right?
Well, except
Um
for the new news today.
uh so okay, so I saw reholder gate,
Did
and
you see what
and
happened
then
today?
then the next negative thing was the uh what's his face said like 9.9 pre-screen submission, which is so stupid.
It's stupid.
Um because um
It devalues 9.8s now.
well, you're right, and
If it means that
also
9.9s are even possible, it devalues 9.8s
well
considerably.
what it means too is it means that they haven't been doing their job if they start issuing 9.9. So it actually devalues
Yeah, I mean it kind of
confidence in general.
what everybody had already considered was 9.8s or like true tens. It's like a 10 in a
That's right.
card.
That's right. Yeah.
So like or maybe it's like the Beckett version of a pristine, which is 9.5s and above for all the 4 categories. So that would
Yeah.
be a 9.8 in sports cards. But um, you know, Beckett does give out pristine tens, and I guess that's what a 10 would be in CGC. But yeah,
Yeah,
it devalues 9/8. It's a stupid thing to say.
it is a dumb thing to say. And,
But
and
no, like CGC actually sued two of its employees today.
oh, okay, so
Did you
that's
see that?
I saw CG.
Swaggle did a video on it.
I didn't see the video. I did see CGC versus somebody took a screenshot of like the front page of a court filing. And
So
so we're so
CGC is filed a lawsuit against two of its employees. One of them, who well, the wife was the one who facilitated it, but the husband is the one who actually stole at least 20 books and replaced them with lower valued books and printed off 9/8 stickers for himself.
were any of them a static one?
Could have been your onslaught too. You replaced it with one with a torn back. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, yeah, and now, I mean, what does
So
this mean?
wait, how in God's name are they going to be able to
Yeah,
figure that out? It's like every book that dude graded?
I mean, he's been an employee since 2022, so you got a whole year and a half of him maybe doing this, and a whole lot of books that he could have stolen. I mean, how many times have you got a book back? You're like, this isn't my book. Like, there's no
Not
way.
so there's almost no way. So the reholder situation is a little easier, right? Because they could at least they had a lot of data. They could say which books were reholdered, from whom submitted them. But this is if it's anything that went across this dude's desk. Well, so how did they end up catching it? Did they look at security video? Because if everything's secured, then they can actually watch you know, every single grade that this individual did. They can pull the tape.
I
Um,
mean, if
and there should be tape on, there should be recorded every single thing they do. So they have empirical data if somebody dropped a book and tore the cover off or something like that.
this really it really damages their reputation. Bad.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
really bad.
I'm glad that I decided to send in a bunch of bigger books, right?
What's up, John?
Hey, John.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guy obviously doesn't work there anymore, and the fact that
Sure.
CGC is suing this guy means that they're willing to take a stand against stuff like this. But
Yeah, yeah.
how much damage has been done, and how much faith is there in the books that we all had graded that those are our books? Like,
Yeah,
there's some major confidence damage here now. This is beyond just 300 books from
sure.
CGC Gate. This is like, I don't trust anything.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest issues is that um, like you said, there's the confidence and there's just this idea that there's a lack of chain of custody, right? Like, and what is so every time we see the last step QC in grading, what is actually occurring, right?
Yeah.
We all get hyped when we see that in our in that the status. Uh, but
John is asking if we're gonna go see Madam Web. I
I
am
thought
not. I am not gonna go see Madam Web.
no, it'll just make him mad, John.
I will. I'll see it when it's free.
Pretty fitty.
Free. Yeah.
Um, what do you
Yeah.
think about the Supergirl casting, by the way?
I liked the other girl better.
But it's now the girl from House of Dragon.
Yeah. I don't know.
You know, I thought you liked that girl.
No. And I hated House of Dragon.
House of Dragon was tough, right?
It was bad.
Like it was. I thought it was okay, but it was like the whole like it took like the real like questionable family relationships to the next level, and I also was like, there's no way that girl would grow up to look like that girl. Like those are two different characters.
Yeah. No. Not even close to interested.
Alabama Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then a 6.4 out of 10, that's actually not bad. I
That's not
mean,
bad.
those are great numbers for a baseball player. Not
Six
such
six
not
point
such
four
great.
out of 10 is a watchable movie, which I would kind of give that to what my son and I thought of Aquaman 2. It was entertaining, somewhat
Okay.
watchable. It wasn't bad. I liked it more than Aquaman 1.
That's interesting because I rewatched Aquaman 1 recently and I thought, oh, maybe I'll give it a chance. And I was like, oh, this is not a great film. But yet
Aquaman 1 is
it
terrible.
made like $1.3 billion, you know?
Yep. Yeah,
When
it's
I
not good.
when I think about that and then think about how people crapped on not the Marvels because I didn't see the Marvels, but Captain Marvel, I actually thought Captain Marvel compared to Aquaman was a far, far superior film.
Captain Marvel.
Uh, huh?
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, yeah. I didn't see the Marvels.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But from everything I hear about the Marvels, it's a decent movie.
That's what I've heard. I heard it's somewhat entertaining. I don't know. I think a lot of people are crapping on it just because you had to jump through so many hoops just to understand the story. Like you had to watch Secret Invasion, you had to watch
Yeah.
Kamala Khan or Miss Marvel. You had, what I mean, just like
Yeah.
um,
Jimmy mentioned it too. Jimmy had said this like I don't know, maybe last summer or last spring. You know, he said that he felt like the new thing was to just crap on the things that we love.
that's what it
And
seems like.
I
It does
do
seem
feel
like
like
that.
I do feel like on yeah, like a lot of the folks that I follow on Instagram and stuff, it is so negative. And I was like, we're supposed to have fun watching this stuff.
Yeah,
Like even when we're kind of giving stuff crap, like
yeah. That's
it's
kind of what
still
like. There's like four YouTubers that all they do is shit on everything, and it's
yeah.
like it must be exhausting.
It's got to be exhausting.
It's
Yeah.
just not only that, like I guess you got to keep the momentum going for your channel, and your channel's known for just shitting on something. But I mean, doesn't it get old after a while? Like,
I'd
it
imagine, don't you think that creeps in other aspects of your life, being just
yeah,
miserable?
absolutely. But not only that, like most of these people are shitting on it before they even see it.
Yeah,
Like they're
yeah,
like, I'm not going, but everybody says it's crap, so it must be
yeah,
crap. Well, I mean,
yeah.
like, I even watched the stupid Little Mermaid remake. I mean, it is crap, but at least I watched it to have an opinion. You know what I mean? Like, just give it, like, watch it first. Like,
Uh-huh.
like everybody's crapping on Aquaman too. Well, I watched it. It was fine.
Yeah,
Wasn't Oscar worthy, but it was fine.
yeah. And I watch a lot of stuff that's not great, but I still enjoy watching it,
I mean, I love crappy movies.
Hmm.
I'll give everything a chance.
Griff is such a fan of Tremors, you
Tremors
know.
is fantastic, though.
And I watched a Tremors documentary with him the other day, and
Did you?
it made me fall in love with Tremors all over again. You know, like it was like I wanted to watch Tremors 1 all over again
And then
because
you got Michael Gross from Family Ties. He's like a
yeah,
badass.
well, he's Burt Gummer,
Yeah.
you know. He's Burt Gummer for what, 7 films or something like that.
There's an hour left, but you can get a 9/8 Riri Williams for $90.
Jeez Louise.
How the mighty have fallen. Nobody
Wait, a minute,
won.
that's the buy it now?
No, it's auction, but I don't think it'll go much further than that.
Is it
That's one thing that just nobody wants. Nobody wants Riri Williams.
the cameo or is it number 7 or number 9?
It's the first appearance.
First four.
Number 9.
Okay.
First full.
Yeah.
And then they have the second printing with her in the corner, and that's a 9/6 selling for $20.
Oh my goodness.
It's not very
$20.
21 bucks.
I mean, that's almost worth buying it. They can't go lower than
I
that.
mean, this is kind of where I like to pick up books for under fair market value, a certain percentage under fair market value. Like some of them are kind of close. Like, and I feel like everybody on here knows what they're doing, so there's no real bargains unless just it, like
Are you on eBay?
no, this is Comic Link
Okay.
auction. So this is the part 3 of the auction, which is G through K, I think. So
See, but
today is a lot of Iron Man and
don't you think there's a lot of deals to be had there because folks are looking for those bigger books.
Well, there's
Like,
certainly deals like Iron Man 259 with nothing happening, a 9.8 you can get for $28, but nobody wants it because it's enough. There's no story, there's no first. It's not a key issue. It's just it's just a slab 9.8. It's just
yeah, I
a
really,
very nice version of that book that nobody wants.
I really have a hard time understanding why so many people rush to. I
Grade
mean,
these.
grade, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's also like my buddy and I went to like a when I use the term local, it means within like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Like we went to a local card show an
me
hour
too.
and 20 minutes away the other day, and or like when I say the other day, it was a couple weeks ago, and there were so many cards that they had graded, and I was like, why in the world would you? Why did you ever send that in anyway?
I mean, some of them get they get the bulk thing where I mean not long ago it's like when a new series comes out they do it like when 2024 series 1 will come out they'll do like a bulk thing for like $9 a card. Just send us at least 50 cards and we'll bulk grade them for. So like everybody just sends in hundreds and hundreds of series 1 2024 series 1 cards just to get them graded, but they're not worth anything.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
So I don't
I
know.
think that train has left the station, right?
The card
And it-
train.
oh no. The graded modern train has left the station. Like when you have like generational defining talents like Otani having like a PSA 10 being worth like $50. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
because there's so many tens. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, especially his best cards. So the 2018 Topps Chrome
Hmm.
is yeah like $100, but you get the pink variant. It's worth $500. You get
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, right, of course, it's
refractors
less.
and autos, and it goes up from there. But yeah, base. There's no money in base.
Yeah,
I just collect it because I like to have it. But yeah,
sure.
there's no money
Well,
there.
that's cool. And that's because you're a collector. Like,
And yeah, that's kind of what it's about. Like
still something
I
fun
collect
about it.
cards because they're fun.
Yeah. And I'm not crapping on I'm certainly not crapping on the hobby. I'm just
Yeah, no, I get it though.
the idea of the flip, right? The flip it's still doesn't make a lot of sense. Um,
No, I feel like, especially for a new series, so 2024 Series 1 is going to have the rookie card of Ellie De La Cruz and Jason Dominguez. So
mhm.
everybody's going to rush to get those 10s graded in order to flip them for a high amount of money. They're probably going to sell for $50 to $100, but it won't be long before the census is flooded and it drops down to $25 for a 10 because there's 100,000 of them.
Why does Dominguez have a first Bowman that's so much older than? I mean, his first Bowman's already like 3 years old, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Why?
mean,
Why
it.
is that?
I think it's saying more that he's done so well that he's gone up as quickly as he did because there's some guys that between their first Bowman and their rookie card is a lot longer than 3 years.
Okay.
But yeah, Dominguez. I mean, he pushed him through pretty fast because he was in Double A. He was only in Double A for half a season before he was in Triple A, and then he was in the majors by the end of the season. Like it was crazy.
I don't think that I was dumb and didn't pay attention. But the number one draft pick, that the pitcher, uh,
Skeens.
yeah, he was Altoona at the end of last season, which is like literally down
Oh,
uh,
he'll be on the opening day roster, I think.
yeah,
I mean, that
that's
guy
the
is
thing.
super fast tracked. It's
That
like
thing.
Jackson Holiday. Jackson Holiday was a first Bowman was 2022 first Bowman.
But Jackson Holly's mad young, right?
He is, but he's really really good. So
No. Yeah, I
yeah,
just mean
he's young.
isn't he like freaking A-Rod or Andrew Jones kind of
I
like
think he's 19.
yeah, his
I
face
think Griffey was
he looks
17 when they brought him up.
that's crazy,
It's
isn't it?
crazy for a 17-year-old to be a major leaguer playing with your dad on the Mariners. That's crazy
That is
and
freaking
so
bonkers.
cool.
And then to have like at your true like full-blown rookie season to have like an amazing year at
Yeah.
like 18.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I was I was kind of sad to see Connor Bedard get hurt, where he's going to
So was
miss
I, because I got a
like,
lot invested in him.
missing significant time. But like,
Yeah,
I mean, he was just playing. He was getting
he was getting
mugged,
hot.
mugged by dudes and everything like that, and he was battling right through it all. All the crap.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I don't even know past him who the big rookies are.
most of the kids are. I don't think most of them are U.S. born
No,
right now.
no.
I think, or even North American born.
Yeah, I remember the my IT guy that I work with. He told me about Bedard 3 years ago,
Okay.
and he's like, this kid's gonna be something. He's definitely gonna be the number one overall draft pick. He's like, go get some Bedard cards, and I was picking them up for like $5-10, and now they're like $50 to $100.
Yeah. Did you happen to get his Young Guns, or was that already sky
So
high?
his Young Guns isn't out yet. It's Upper Deck Series One does not have. They have a super short print of his that's available in Series One,
Uh-huh.
but his Young Guns will be out in Series Two.
Which, and even though it's the second card, it's going to be the one everybody wants
That's
because
going to be the one everybody wants.
the all the Young Guns are basically super short prints anyway, aren't they?
I mean, not really. I mean, yes, they're
What do you get,
shorter.
like
They're shorter
one?
printed, right? You get like one a box, or like like I think if you buy a tin of Upper Deck, I'll get three Young Guns.
Okay.
They're not rare, but man, are they valuable. Like I
Yeah.
tell everybody all the time, like take a stab on a tin of Upper Deck hockey. Like if you get any Young Gun, it's worth like $10 or $20.
Yeah, I mean, look at freaking Crosby, Ovechkin,
Oh
and
yeah, those are
and,
crazy. Like
and
thousands of
McDavid.
dollars for a Connor
McDavid, yeah.
McDavid Young Guns is thousands,
Yeah.
and that's just a base Young Guns. Ovechkin, same thing. Crosby, same thing. Thousands.
McDavid's got some bonkers statistics. I don't know, like, hopefully that kid doesn't get hurt. But
Yeah,
because
he picked up right where Crosby left off. Like
yeah,
it's crazy to have like a generational talent just like pop
but
in.
even Crosby never scored kind of at the rate that McDavid scores,
But he
though.
got hurt a lot too. Like Crosby was hurt,
Yeah,
but like you know, it's still a generational talent. Like
sure.
you go from Ovechkin to Crosby to McDavid, and now
Yeah,
this new guy. Yeah,
yeah, to have
hockey's
the torch kind of passed in that way, right?
yeah for generational guys. Like this
Yeah.
is just
I do think it's crazy. If you look at the top 20 in scoring, Crosby's still in the top 20 in scoring, and he's the oldest dude by like
that's
8 years.
that's crazy.
I mean, and who was it? Brad Marchand the other day said that he thinks Crosby's still the best uh, one end of the ring to the other end of the ring player in the NHL.
Really.
Like in terms of complete game, like
And
wins,
how long ago was his rookie?
well, he's 30, he's 37, I think, and he came up at 18, so it would have
He's
been
37.
19 years ago.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that's crazy. I feel old.
I think that's what he is. He's either 37 or 38.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy. So, all right. So, we want to go over, do you have your books that you got from Comic Link, or did you even get them yet?
Oh,
Do
I
you?
didn't get him yet, but I could tell you what I bought.
Yeah, sure.
I bought. Let's see.
Sorry, Crosby's only 36, but
Still,
still 18 years ago.
I got a Darkman 1 9.4 for $30.
That's cool.
I love Darkman. I got a Daredevil 58 Volume 2. That's the first appearance of what's her name?
Lady Bullseye.
No, I forgot. Her name was like Maya something. It was just like one of those it's just like a female assassin thing, but I got it for oh no, I didn't win it. It went for 110. No, I did not win that. I got the Amazing Spider-Man 911 book for
That's cool.
$40. That was a 9.4. I
That's
got
the all
the
black
all
cover.
black cover. Yeah, I
That is
got the
cool.
ASM 601, the J. Scott Campbell
Yeah.
Mary Jane book. I bought that.
Which
Uh,
you bought that graded or raw?
90.
I know.
I got 9-2 Swamp Thing 7. That's the first appearance of Batman in Swamp Thing,
Okay.
which I've wanted that book for a while. And then one of my keys that I never had, I finally got a Journey into Mystery 102, which is the first Hela, Sif, and Balder all in the first book. So I've been hunting that one down for a while.
Okay.
That's a 5/5. I got Brave and the Bold 57, first Metamorpho, which, I think that's pretty smart, knowing that Gunn's going to do something with him.
I thought you bought that off of me.
Nope. Did Jimmy? Or Chris?
No.
No, I don't have that one.
So if you didn't get it, somebody else bought it off of me.
Somebody else bought it off you. And, of course, I got my ASM 14, first Green Goblin. That
Yeah.
I've been wanting that
Incredible.
book forever.
Incredible.
That's a good one. I'm really
Yeah.
happy with that book.
I always thought that had one of the better covers too.
Great cover. So now I'm missing Doc Ock and Vulture, and obviously Chameleon ASM 1. But so 1, 2, and Doc Ock is 4,
Doc Ock is 3, right?
3. Right,
Yeah.
right. 4 is Sandman.
Or Sandman. 5 is the first
5
non-huge key,
is what's that?
or isn't 5 the first non-huge key, or is because
Yeah,
Craven is what, 8?
and 6 is Lizard, or 6 is Vulture again.
I don't know. If only we had
I
super.
was yeah, I know.
Oh no, it's just you and me now. We even lost John.
We
We were
lost
up to
John.
we were up to 4 or 5.
Oh no.
Oh no. Well, it's just for us, you know.
Yeah.
Just for us.
I
I actually
mean,
thought I
certainly
thought
we're not getting paid for this, so we're
I
just
thought
doing
we
it for
were
fun.
I thought we were relatively entertaining this evening. Let's see. Uh, so what do you think about that? What do you think about the newest Star Trek one? Jimmy dropped off the Star Trek one.
Oh, I didn't even look at it yet. I have it
Oh, you didn't
right
look
on
at
my
it.
computer. I didn't look at it yet though.
Oh, dude, 5 is Second Doom.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, and you were right, 6 is Lizard, and then 7 is Second Vulture.
Hmm.
8 is really that first non-key. It's that kind of classic cover where he's doing this with Human Torch flying up, and then nine's Electro. Um, 10 is the classic cover with the Enforcers. 11 is second Doc Ock. 12 is third Doc Ock. 13 is first Mysterio. 14, man, 13, 14, 15, 16. That would have been a good run to have picked up for 48 cents.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, hell, 1 through 20 would have been a good run to pick up for $2.40.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll finish the run one day.
Um, there's a fella I follow on Instagram, um, David. Oh man, I cannot remember his last name right now, but he recently completed his 1 through 100, and
ASM.
everyone is a 6.0 or better, I think, or 6.5 or better, and then
Nice.
it includes AF15 too. So it's AF15, and
His AF15 is a 6.
let me see. I think it might be even 6.5.
Jeez. Good for him.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, just such a cool, you know, cool thing to have accomplished. I'm still sure it's not probably still not the highest graded run, but what an accomplishment all the same, you know.
Yeah, when I see the AF15 now selling for half of what I paid for it, I'm like, oh god, like
Yeah, but
literally half. No, it's a long hold.
that's a
Yeah,
long
I
haul. You're
know.
never doing anything with it. David Schaefer, Comics and Toys. Let's see. It is everything is a 6 or higher. So his first 4, his AF15, his 1, 2, and 3 are all 6s. His Sandman's a 7. His second Doom is a 7. Then his Lizard's a 6. Then it's 6, 6, 8, 6, 7, 7, 6, 5, 6, 5,
Wow.
7, 5 for his first Green
Kingpin.
Goblin.
First what?
Green Goblin.
Oh wow.
Let's see. What is his highest grade in the top 20? His highest grade in the top 20 is first Green Goblin. Uh, he has an 8.5 though. 2.85, 2.85s in the first 29. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so pretty freaking rad.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like in my older years I'll try to upgrade grades and I'll just look to fill in the blanks in the beginning.
Hmm.
I feel like that with like my sports card, like my non-sports collections too. Like I'll just
Sure.
like fill them in and then like improve the collection over time better.
Have you gone to the church show recently?
Church
The
show. Oh no,
little one?
no. Last time it was on, I missed it because it was I had something else going on. But I ended up seeing all those guys at Mario's, the RC Collectibles, the auction on that first Wednesday of every month.
Uh-huh.
So
You
I
saw.
saw a lot of those St. Anne's guys there
Oh,
buying.
really?
Yeah.
Does he have a vendor thing during the auction, or it's their stuff that's in the auction?
Both. They can't. It's a free auction that you can put anything in there.
Okay.
But it's mostly those guys are just buying up stock. Like I
Ah.
recognize like five of them as like selling at shows. They're all vendors and they're like buying bulk.
And do you actually see them, or you just see their names?
I see them.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we're it's a live auction. Me and my brother-in-law
Oh,
went
oh,
there last.
oh, oh. Okay. I was just
It was
thinking
a lot of
about it, the
fun. Too
fact
bad
that,
you're not local. It's a good time.
but it starts out as the silent auction portion, right? Like what I've
There's
seen
the
when.
silent auction in the back,
Uh-huh.
and that's done on like the last Friday of every month. But this is
Okay.
the first Wednesday of every month. They have like a live auction where they just put out lots and everybody looks at them for the pre-show, and then they do the auction. It was like
Well, they
200
have
lots last time.
they have to do that in the back too, right? There's no
Yes.
room up front in that
Yeah,
shop.
so that whole thing is like set up with chairs and tables,
That's
and
cool.
yeah, it's
Yeah, that's cool.
a lot of fun. It was a good time.
Um, yeah, I would say I anything that I've bought this month or bought last month, since it's the second or it's the first today, anything I bought last month for the most part is either in your basement, uh, off to CGC already,
Yeah.
or
Oh
I've
yeah. Do you want me
sold.
to look that up real quick? See if there's
I've
any updates.
sold it. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Or I've sold already. I know I'm not trying to I'm not trying to pester you, and B, I'm not trying to hold out for hope because it would be so convenient if they came back because Jimmy's driving out here.
Still
Um,
scheduled for grade.
yeah. So so I'm not holding out hope because the show is 3 weeks,
You never
uh
know, man.
well, 22 days out,
Mm-hmm.
which is still, still if it got scheduled for grading next week, I'd probably still get them in time. Or
Yeah.
if it got into grading next
Yeah.
week, I'd probably
If
get
it
them in
was in
time.
grading encapsulation by the end of next week, you could definitely get them in time.
So, it would be a major boon to my show because, I did this show last year, and even though it's a smaller show, people are buying, and I think that a majority of those books are in the right price range. They're in that $100 to $300 range, most of them. Now, a couple of them I won't sell. I won't sell the first Animal Man. I do think that there's a strong possibility that James Gunn does something with a character like Animal Man. I'd love to get my hands on a first Dead Man too,
There was one in that auction.
not only because the cover's
I
amazing,
love that cover. I got two of them now. I love that cover so
but
much.
um, but also he's a quirky character, like
Oops, I lost you. Every time I bump this, speak.
uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Every time I bump this stupid thing for the headphone jack, I don't hear anything.
So I have this little lot of Green Lantern, Silver Age Green Lantern. Right now, two of them are complete. One of them's mid grade. the second Star Sapphire is like a lower grade but complete.
Yeah.
And then two actually really beautiful books that unfortunately the one issue, the centerfold is it's complete, but the centerfold's detached from the staples. And then the other issue, it's funniest thing I've the first time I got the book yet, where one of the Muscle Man subscription coupons was cut out of the back.
Really?
Yeah, like the ones that
So random, yeah.
send away for for to become a bodybuilder or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I always want to turn those into t-shirts. Like I've always said like I want to go into those 60s books and like turn those ads like X-ray vision, buy a
yeah.
monkey, like all those things and turn them into t-shirts. I
But
thought that'd be really cool.
the thing that I didn't send yet or didn't post yet, which I'm going to post on Instagram, uh, this is the advertisement in the front in the middle of that
Oh,
book where it's
nice.
attached. You can see the my
Yeah.
attached, but that's the advertisement, and that's that classic image.
Yeah, it's cool.
I can't remember whether this was the one that Danzig bought. I don't think so. I think Danzig
The
bought.
original art?
Yeah, he
Wow.
had it was either this, I don't think so. I think it's the even more famous cover with the what is that, all the faces in kind of
Who did Dead Man 1? I thought it was Neil Adams, but I don't think it is, right?
I think it's Neil Adams,
Is
isn't
it
it?
Neil Adams?
Well, Neil Adams definitely
He does a lot of Dead Man. I just didn't know
does
if he
the
did the first one.
classic one. You mean Strange Adventures?
Yeah,
What is it? Strange Adventures 180? Is that what it is?
I don't know. Jason, like my memory has vanished with like recalling numbers now. Like somebody even asked me the other day, like I'm a huge Niners fan. Like how many Super Bowls did Joe Montana win? I said I think three. He's like, no, I thought four. I was like,
Yeah, I think it's four
no, it's
too.
definitely four, but I should have known that.
Huh? Well, they bleed into the one that's the young one too, so
Yeah,
it's a little harder. No, Strange Adventures 180. See,
there you
that's
go.
first Animal Man. That's first Animal Man. So I'm not sure which which one. It's got to be right around there somewhere, but it's probably a
Probably,
little bit later. Oh, I think it's like 201, maybe something like that.
maybe.
But so yeah, recently, uh, I've mostly just been just missing out on great books. It's actually
Like Facebook Marketplace, like people scrolling.
yes, yeah.
So what happened with that lady? Like
So
obviously she went sky high with her prices. She knew that everybody was like running to her for books.
so I'm about to tell you this story, and this destroyed me, right? So
Yeah.
for well, there's nobody watching, it's just you and me. But so she she gave me the offer before she posted, right? And it was the Strange Tales lot, and she posted it at 2,900, and I had back and forth with her, and was trying not to tell her she was crazy, but also saying like, like I said, I go into almost like I want to help people mode as soon as I find out I can't buy the thing. So I might as well help them try and realize their full potential on the thing. And so I offered to help her, and she then was all very obstinate in it that like,
I know what I'm
yeah,
doing.
because she had she had done 1/2 hour of Google searching, she was now an expert, right? So
Yeah.
um
This
so
is
anyway, she
this is where she goes
posted
to a comic book show with like one of those overstreets from 10 years ago. And she's like, I know what I'm
so
doing.
bro, she posts those at 2,900, okay?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm out, right? But then I was like, oh, well, I'm still going to follow her listings. So the next day, I'm in a meeting. Did I tell you this part?
No.
The
You told
next
me
day,
about the 29. That's where we left off when you told me about the
okay, the next
2900.
day I'm in a meeting. I get back to my desk and I
Turn this
load
light off. It's a little
I
harsh.
I load it. She has posted a Daredevil lot.
Well, you did tell me that there was a Daredevil one in there too, right?
Yep, and she called the lot, what does it say at the top where here comes the Daredevil? She posted it as here comes the Daredevil lot. And then the Daredevil one is in the top corner. I think I even showed it here on the she sold that lot for $350. I was like, I will buy this, I will buy this, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, you're the second, you're like number two. The other guy got there first, and I was like, mother of pearl,
Yeah,
and
even in
then
a 4.0, that's a $4,000 book.
I mean, it's just crazy,
It's
right?
crazy.
And
But what made her think that the other one is
I
2,900?
do not know. This is what is so frustrating. So then,
What's in there?
huh?
What was in that lot?
Nothing. There's some of the early books, right? So like the early book with Submariner and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
there's none of the big keys. There's no First Strange in there. So like if the First Strange was in there and it was mid grade, you could at least understand 2,900.
I would even pay 2,900 if it was in decent
I
shape.
I did all the numbers. Then I went on just as an exercise, right? Because I was like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. So I did all the numbers. I gave her benefit of doubt that they were in 4.5 condition, and I looked at most recent sales. The end of the rainbow number for the books that she had was like 1,700. Then she posts the books. Three of them don't even have covers, which are then make those books worthless.
Worthless.
And I try to explain unless it's a huge key. If she had, what is strange, 116?
110.
110, that's right. So if she had
That I
110,
knew.
if she had 110 coverless, that's still probably a $200 book coverless.
Yeah, two to four
That
hundred.
that book, but she didn't.
Yeah, right.
And so the other books. So then she sells the Daredevils, which are in better condition for 350. So then I'm like a freaking dog on a meat bone again, like waiting for her to post up. She's like, hey Jason, are you interested in Sergeant Fury books? So I'm like, I'd be interested if number one was there. So then she sends me the posts. Not only is not number one's not there, but the
But there's
second.
still some pretty good keys in that.
Well,
First Hydra, first Shield,
well,
first
so none of those
Quintessa.
none of those were in there.
No.
And then she was asking 260 for that, and two or three of those were coverless.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening? And then she finally responds, are you interested in Amazing Spider-Man? And I was like, here we go. So then she sends me a handwritten piece of paper with the numbers and her assigned grades to them. And then what she's asking.
What was she asking for the lot?
So some of the books she was only asking like $40 for. She had it as like a pour is what she's calling it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would imagine that meant didn't have a
No
cover
cover.
and it
Yeah.
was lit on fire. In her so she had a number two. She was only asking, I want to say she was asking $150. I was like, can you send me pictures of number two? And I wanted to see numbers pictures of 38 because I'd love to have the last Ditko. She's like, I can't give you any pictures. Like I don't have the books here. They're like with the other owner. I'm just selling them, trying to sell them for him. And I was like, what the hell? Like you can't buy something without pictures. Like you can't
Mm-hmm.
buy something like that when you can't see it. So,
Yeah,
I
it
it was
almost
just
seems like it's worth taking the trip to see this lady.
it just ended up getting more and more disappointed,
You said Syracuse,
Syracuse, yeah.
right?
And I think at this point she hasn't really posted anything else. So I think at this point it's probably kind of done. But it was very frustrating. And then earlier this week, um this guy was probably in that New York area too. Ended up being super, super nice. Unfortunately, again, um, by the time I saw it, I was like second dude, or and there was this
How are
is the
these guys so quick on there, man?
I don't know.
I'm running into this on Goodwill, like, but right when they get posted, they're freaking gone already.
I don't know, Dolph, but this is the second time in 30 days that I could have bought a first Poison Ivy for less than $100. Um,
Wow.
and and Poison Ivy, it was in a lot with seven other books
Yeah.
that were,
Oh my god.
and he only wanted $100 for it. I mean, it was just crazy the stuff that I've just barely missed. Um, But I mean, I did get the Star Trek for $65. That's a pretty
It's a pretty good
that
deal.
that'll be a pretty good come up, yeah. So I think it's probably I don't know. You'd have to let me know, but I think it's probably going to be like a 5.5 that Star Trek. So still pretty good.
Yeah. 5.5, you think?
I think so, yeah. So 5.5, I think it's going to be like a 500 some dollar book. Um
Really, huh?
so so with this with the let me see. I might be high. I know if it got to six, if it got to a six, it's all of a sudden like a $600 book. Uh, but it's just I got it for $65. So
Yeah, sure.
after grading and shipping both ways, it's still only going to cost me what 150 maybe all in at the high end. So it'll be gravy. Let's see. Let us see. I am glad I sold that book when I did though,
Why
because
did it drop?
the 8.0 the last sale. Now somebody got a screamer of a deal because I don't know what they did, but it sold way low. The last 8.0 sold 3 weeks ago for $960, and I sold my 8.0 for 1575.
Wow, did you really?
Now the last 8.5, hilarious enough, the last 8.5 sold for $1,920, and the last 9.0 sold for 3,500.
Holy cow, seriously?
So those are a couple expensive spine ticks.
I'll be right back. I gotta give my coffee back.
Who are you giving it back to, Dolph?
That's private.
Okay. Well, I'll just sit in silence like Simon and Garfunkel over here. So I can't talk to anybody. 'Cause Dolph's not here, and we have nobody watching. So it's just going to be me. So, kids, the next thing up for me is if you're in the central Pennsylvania area, which I nobody's watching, so none of you are. I am going to be doing the Happy Valley Comic Con in State College, Pennsylvania, on February 24th, February 20, yeah, 23rd. No, what time? Second, the third, the 24th and 25th, February 24th and 25th. I am going to have so many dollar books. I am alphabetizing them and alphabetical and chronological and by publisher. So it's been a pretty intense overhaul here. My hallway is comprised mostly of vinyl flooring
What are you just talking
and
to yourself?
yeah, I'm talking to our audience.
Do we have an audience?
No,
We
but
don't
I'm
have an
so
audience.
this is content for people after the fact. So if Faust watches this tomorrow, he
That's
doesn't
true. That's
he
true.
doesn't have
You
to
do have a
watch. I
point.
don't want dead air.
I hear
We're
you.
we're we're hemorrhaging subs. We can't have dead air.
I mean, we gotta come back and do this more often. We have to keep doing this. Mr. Bones by Todd McFarlane resembles Spawn. Spawn prototype. There's nothing good in this. No, there's nothing.
I don't even think I looked at the Hot 10 this week, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, we got an Invincible one. Only at 210.
Whoa.
Oh, it's the Larrys. They didn't put that though in the listing.
Oh,
They should.
misleading. Yeah, misleading.
But then again, it benefited me once. I got the second appearance of the new X Men with Mark Jewelers. Oh,
Did
here's
it?
one. This is an 8.5. I do want an Invincible one bad. I got to go on Go Collect though to see how much 8.5 goes for.
Are you at all surprised that you've never stumbled across one of those in a collection?
They're very short printed. It's not a high print.
No, I know that, but just like that, there are still a lot of people who bought Invincible from the beginning and have like the run,
Yeah.
uh, it's actually kind of shocking how many books in the first 50 issues are like $100+ books of Invincible too.
Yeah, this is kind of what Chris was saying. Like, has anybody like reported what their print runs are? And really nobody knows. But I think there's less than 10,000 Invincible ones. It's not a
Yeah,
lot.
something that I was watching, I can't remember whose video was. It might have been a Comic Tom video where he was one of the more podcast ones with the ones that they did like about 2 years ago were with Golden Age Guru,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was them. I could be attributing it to the wrong person, but anyways, the point of the video and the point of my story was there was uh they were talking about print runs of Spawn books,
Mm-hmm.
and then it got them talking about Savage Dragon books too. And the same reason, obviously, Spawn wasn't canceled is the same reason Savage Dragon wasn't canceled because the freaking creator was still creating the book, right? And but they said that there was for distribution of comic shops, there was a list of there is information about how many were ordered for the 300 how many were ordered
Mm-hmm.
for the top 300 books each week, I guess the top 300. And
Yeah.
and
Uh, what was the name? Wizard Magazine used to report some of it, not all
okay.
of it. Um,
And I suppose they use some of that data. So
mhm.
some of the spawns or some of the not I don't think any spawns got there, but some of the Savage Dragons they know the print run is like less than 3,000 because the 300th book so was ordered at least in like
Savage
3,000.
Dragon 1?
No, 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 not
Oh,
Savage
oh,
Dragon.
oh.
The
The
later
later
Savage
issues,
Dragon
kind of like
book.
what
Yeah.
happened with Spawn, where it was like
Exactly what
less than
happened.
like 6,000, like it was
Right.
hundreds. Yeah.
But some of the Savage Dragons were so so ill ordered that they didn't even show up on that top 300
Mm-hmm.
list, which means the print runs would have been less than 3,000, you know.
Right.
Uh, and the interesting thing is, the print runs they don't seem to be necessarily exact. So there's conversations that print runs might have been like 3,240 books because that's how many were, ordered by retailers or something along
Yeah.
those lines, which I think is kind of crazy.
Yeah. What was I? What I told Chris was I think there was an article that I read that Dark Horse was actually reporting numbers for a little while, and then I don't know if they it wasn't self-serving or it had no purpose, so they stopped doing it. But I think Dark Horse was reporting their print runs for a little while.
Yeah,
It,
so if you look on Key Collector right now on the Savage Dragon,
yeah.
you can see, and I'm assuming a similar thing to Spawn. So they do report what was reported to be ordered by retailers. So, for instance, Savage Dragon 162 copies ordered by retailers 5,544.
But
One
what does that mean though? Ordered by retailers? Does that mean a split between direct and newsstands? Like, I mean, if a a bookstore or 7-Eleven orders a bunch of Savage Dragons versus a comic book store.
I mean, that's a great question, but I don't know that you'd have to then find out like who these books are from 2010, 2011. So you have to question whether or not Image was printing anything other than direct at
Mm-hmm.
that time.
Maybe, probably. I mean,
So
is newsstand when is newsstand done?
Newsstand is done. I want to say Marvel. I can't remember it. One of the other, either Marvel or DC lasted like another 2 years with Newsstand than the other company.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like for instance, obviously you know that New 52 had newsstands because you see newsstands in New 52,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what 2000 and
7.
2000 is that late? Um, yeah, so you can probably find out when the last, and we know that there's
Oh,
newsstands.
2011.
Yeah. And we know there's newsstands of Ultimate Fallout 4. So,
That's true.
uh, so
That's true.
We could probably actually find that. What was the last
When
newsstand?
does newsstand end for DC? 2017.
Yeah, so I think that's later than Marvel.
Yeah, I'll do the same for Marvel. So DC is 2017, and I bet those are super scarce. You get some 2017 newsstands.
And Marvel stopped in 2013.
2013, I got that too. So yeah,
Yeah, so I bet the independents were were probably earlier than that.
probably earlier than that.
So
Yeah, interesting.
yeah, so anywho, that's kind of like that I have thought was interesting because um oh, here you go. So Savage Dragon 195 copies ordered by retailers. It says below 4,560. The issue was not on the top 300 order issues that Diamond reports and comicron.com. Sorry, comichron.com makes available. Therefore, number 300, the lowest quantity of issues, is used as a reference point.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
that might
I
be.
know because
I don't know if that still.
do you remember buying Wizard back in the day?
Sure.
Like
Yeah. Well, I
they
don't
had
know.
the top 20 most bought issues or most like what is it? Final something cutoff FMOC, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Or final order cut FOC, final order
Yeah.
cutoff. So I think by FOC data they had, like you said, estimated print runs, and I know Wizard Magazine was reporting that for a little while.
Let's see if this comic Hron still exists. Yeah, it still exists.
Comic H run.
Comic history by the numbers.
Interesting.
Uh,
Yeah, because there's like a thing out there, and I didn't even know it, where there's over 1 million Action Comic ones printed.
yeah.
Millions.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not even a short printed book,
Yeah.
but
But
it's just the age of it that didn't last.
well, yeah. I mean, they said they said like, you know, how many action ones were like in freaking you know, at military bases and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah,
that,
sure.
trash cans and stuff like that. And then, I mean, hell, like,
I mean, we know about two books, two action ones that were used for insulation in a bathroom.
yeah, how about how many cap ones were probably buried in foxholes, literal foxholes,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe not cap ones, but cap five, six, sevens, and
Like
eights.
those early caps, yeah.
Uh,
They were probably dropped from airplanes across the lines too, just to make the Nazis feel bad.
so Dolph, you can look at on this website,
What is
you
it
can
called?
Comic Hron, Comic Hron. You can look at there is the rankings of comics per
O
from
N?
huh?
Oh, O N. I did RUN.
Yeah, and then go to the menu and go to
Oh wow,
monthly sales. Look at monthly sales.
let me
So
see that.
we should check out a couple of these. It's in the menu, monthly sales.
Look at that.
And then it gives you Diamond and it gives you Capital City distribution.
Wow.
So we can look at that. We can look at the actual statistics for the year end of
Oh, look at that.
1984.
Uncanny X-Men number 345, 179,000 issues. Wow, that's interesting.
So let's look at what was Secret Wars 8.
Well, this that goes back to the 80s.
Well, that's 84, yeah.
This goes back to 84. All right. Secret Wars 8. Oh, that just went to eBay.
Yeah, what does it say? What does it say here? Diamond until 1901. Further, one of the tools has for tracking capital sales that distributors' own internal records does not include any data before 85. That said, 85 is somewhat unique in that every one of Capital's top-selling issues was part of the Marvel Superhero Secret Wars title. Let's see if it says
So it doesn't say how many.
Capital did not report in February 1984. that it had a report that the second Secret Wars issue had direct market orders, just direct market for issue two, totaling 250,000 copies,
Hmm.
which would have been a significant number in that area.
That makes sense though.
Yep, that does make sense. So that's just direct of Secret Wars. Um, so by analysis of pre-orders from Capital City Distribution for individual months cannot be found. It looks like it from what they can tell is the numbers are in direct order of the Secret Wars title. So there was the most of number one, the second most of number two. That's
Nice.
what.
So here
That,
you go. A direct issue of GI Combat number 278. They only made 1,300 of them.
wow.
It's not a big printing. That's pretty crazy. I wonder what that goes for. GI Combat 278. Now you can get one for $9, but there's not a lot of them. It's only
Yeah,
1,300.
that's interesting. So isn't it interesting? It doesn't look
That's a
like
great site.
they don't have specific years of everything though. Isn't that or months of everything? Isn't that interesting?
But they do on 1985. So 85 had a March thing in there. That's where I looked that up. In June of 1989, they do have it by the month. So in June of 1989, the most short printed book is here. Oh wow, jeez. So you can get a Wild Man number 4, only 250 copies.
Wow.
And then page 2, Sherlock Holmes, here, Return of the Valkyrie limited hardcover. They only made 100 of them. American Flag State of the Union hardcover, 150.
Well, so this shows you what the March of 85 numbers were. Is that what?
Yeah, so this is June of 1989. And
Well, you'd imagine that I would imagine the market was stronger at that point in
I
time.
would have thought so too.
Oh,
But here, like a
you look at these numbers of direct issues, and
yeah, Macabre number 5 from Lighthouse Comics. There's only 250 of them. Kung Fu
yeah,
Warriors, 15 number issue 15, 250.
wow.
That's it. That'd be interesting.
What's really interesting is some of the print runs, right? Like John Sable Freelance, there was more printed of that than Star Wars issue 82.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Star Wars issue 97, I guess it is.
I mean, some of
Uh,
these I never. Well, Hot Stuff number 174. I knew that from Harvey Comics. I only made 700 of them. Hamster Vice. I have a few of those. 700. But it doesn't translate though to scarcity. Doesn't translate to value though. Because
Correct,
some of
right.
these are just
It,
weird,
it
like
needs it
independence.
needs the intersection of scarcity
Yeah,
and title, right?
yeah, because like and not only that, like none of these are Marvel and DC books. Like, what's the lowest printed Marvel or DC book? Like Dead World number 15 is Caliber Comics, so you know there was a bunch of those. Here,
Mhm.
DC Batman movie adaptation, 25 copy prestige pre-pack. They only made 1,000 of them, but it's $124 then. The next one is Marvel Comics Heathcliff number 38. They made 1,300 of them. Is the least printed Marvel comic in 1989.
This does really show you. So for
That's really interesting.
publication 1988, this is Diamond's top sellers by month. January, X-Men. February, X-Men. March, X-Men.
X-Men's
April,
huge,
X-Men.
man.
May, X-Men. June, Excalibur. July, Wolverine 1. August, Wolverine 2. September, Wolverine 3. October, X-Men. November, X-Men. And December, X-Men. Like it's kind of crazy, right? So is 88 the year of um is 88 the year of Batman 423? The McFarlane cover? I think it is, right?
Was that 88? Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see if they had statistics on how many of that were made, how many ASM 300s were printed. I can say half the print run was part of that swap problem at CGC.
Yeah.
That guy had issues with so many issues with that comic. Of that comic was crazy.
Can't even find this one. Amazing Adventures of Ace International from Starhead Comics. They printed 100 of them. Let's see if you can even buy it. Yeah, $9. There's only 100 of them. That's crazy though.
Yeah. Interesting information though.
It is really, really cool.
Yeah.
But like I
So,
said, it doesn't necessarily translate into value.
right. So what's on the horizon for you? So I've got this con coming up in 3 weeks and one day. Jimmy will be out here. So hoping to get those books back from CGC, but again, you know, not holding my breath for that. But I have alphabetized all of my Marvel dollar books, alphabetized and chronological. I've got through half the DC and I'll finish all the DC and Indie. I'll have all the dollar books done by the end of this weekend. And then I will probably reprice or at least look to reprice my 10 boxes of priced books. And I have about 40 new Silver Age books, which are all good books, mid-grade detectives, mid-grade Green Lantern, mid-grade Aquaman, books that all need to get priced, and then should really just review some of the other stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I will more than likely just look to see if anything's like wildly out of price, or if I have multiple copies of something and I must have priced them at different times and they're like one's 10 and one's 7,
If
you know.
anything, though, you would be priced on the high end versus the low end unless something had spiked because it was a first appearance. But
No, that's what I mean. I also want to
yeah,
make that I want to make sure that I'm not priced on the high end. I want to be priced pretty much at the market.
right, I get you.
The goal is to just move volume. For me right now, the goal is to move volume because I am seeing I am seeing enough stuff, in random marketplace or random um, Craigslist, maybe even posts. I actually checked out a guy's collection from a Craigslist post in an Ollie's parking lot near here the other day, and he had some great books. He had First Ultron, right? But it had not ever been bagged or boarded, and even though it was probably still in mid-grain condition, when I was gently flipping through, they were starting to flake. You know what I mean?
Flaking off, just
Which
chipping.
means, yeah, which means the covers are brittle. And so he had three short boxes. I made him an offer of $350 because,
Because you
the
weren't taken care of.
and and uh, and he was nice about it, but he wrote me back and said he had already turned down an offer of 600 on just the box with the 12 centers. And I said, hey, I actually, unless I missed something, which I didn't, if you got an offer for 600 for that box, that is super strong, and I think you should probably take it. He said he had actually had about five more short boxes. Um, he had a short box of almost all 80s and 90s FFs that were bagged and boarded.
Hmm.
Most of them were pretty nice shape. But there's just not a lot of big keys there.
Nope.
So I thought, I'm gonna have to rebag and board every one of these,
Yeah,
and
what are
two
you gonna
thirds
get a Mobius,
and
Mobius,
two,
Mobius in there?
and 2/3 of them would be in my dollar box anyway.
Yeah.
So I'd actually on 2/3 of them lose money.
That first
It,
Nathaniel Richards is like a couple bucks now. It's not even like nobody wants it because Kang is just done.
yeah, the best books actually in there are the Doom covers actually from those runs.
There's a couple of good Galactus covers in there too, but
Yeah,
yeah, pretty much that's it. Just the Doom stuff.
yeah, there's the Galactus covers 243,
Hmm.
and then I did not see whether the Frankie Reyes Nova book was in there or not. But again, those are not big dollar books, so you
Not
know,
worth 600.
nope. That was the 12-cent
Yeah.
books. But he was for the condition, and I could tell that he thought at least some were more because he had some in bags with like a $70 price tag on them. It said like,
Well, I'm happy to see that you're not chasing the dragon and trying to get collections just to get collections, and
No,
you're passing on stuff because that.
no, I have to. Yeah, like
Mhm.
because I have these 25 short boxes of dollar books or whatever, and there's actually like a lot of great books in these collections, and the thing I do take a lot of pride in is like most of those books are really clean.
Mhm.
Even some of the 80s and 90s books are still pretty clean. There are some, that are like 7.5s that are like early 80s books that still have, but if they were nicer would be $20 books.
Yeah.
Um, but there's lots of $10 keys in these bins. And the thing that I hope that I get collectors who are readers and they want to get 15 consecutive issues because I'm ready to make deals.
Mhm. Well, did you ever think of like just in bulk taking those $10 books, putting them on eBay, starting them at like $4, and just see where it goes, and
Um,
just move stuff just to be liquid again, and have cash to buy other collections or.
well, that's the goal right now to see if I can do that in a con and
Mhm.
just to be liquid. I mean, Dolph, I'm going to price these to move, right?
Yeah.
I've already got like what did I kind of made
And
some
it's just the reality is, and God knows I've carried around 12 long boxes to the flea market for two
yeah,
years. Like, there's just books that nobody wants.
yep.
And you're just dragging them around year after year. And it's like, just after a while, you're just. That's why I had James come over and he's like, just buy it all. Just take it for $600. And I'm done.
Yep.
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my dollar books as buy 10 get one free, buy 25 get 5 free, buy 100 get 25 books
Yeah.
free. Like
I guess what I'm saying is at what point is the inventory just like nobody wants it and you
oh,
just
no
have to
doubt.
like move on from it?
No doubt. There is a point in time where
Yeah.
that's the case. There's a point in time, and heck, maybe, depending on how day one goes or day one
Mm-hmm.
and a half goes, if there's somebody there that's got a big shop, and they're,
Yeah, sure.
they're willing to give me, I don't know, like what, $30 a short box or something like that, I'd probably freaking take it, and get everything, blow everything out there. But I've already done enough shows that where my dollar bins on aggregate are organized and they're of much higher grade than most people's. So I think I'll move quite a bit
Mm-hmm.
too.
Yeah,
But the
sure.
goal is to get goal is to get back to my initial goals is reduce the quality over quantity, and I mean that more even in terms of just having books that are generally $20 or more,
Yeah.
just because in between, I want to be a consistent seller on eBay. And if I'm selling single issues, they need to be 20 to $30 books, or else you can't move them. You can't make any money. It's not worth your time, and
Yeah.
you can't get them to a price point where it's worth the collector buying them, right? Because about the cheapest you're going to securely ship a book is like $7, and that's with really packaging it, making sure that you've got really good effort and stuff like that. So um, I have continued to find success with these mid-grade 80s lots of popular characters, and the crazy thing is they sell super fast,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm over the top in my description. I'll say, in my opinion, these books range from, VG to VF minus, like in the 4.5 to 7.5. None of these
Sure.
books have been cleaned or pressed, but in my opinion, they will only become somewhat aesthetically more pleasing. You're not going to increase the grade because the defects are, small tears to the cover, many
Right.
spine ticks,
It's
dog ears,
beyond what a press can do.
yes, surface stains, that kind of thing. So, but you know what? I've gotten great feedback from these too, and I'm including crap tons of high resolution photos too, and I'm putting like low or I'm putting mid grade. I'm putting the description right in the description.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like I sold this lot yesterday. It's a Wolvie and Spider-Man lot, and it's 25 bucks, right? So it's got some minor keys like this. There's two of the gold second prints.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, here's a newsstand, but it's not a pristine book. Um, That's a good early web book. But
Sure.
then, I've got
I've actually been looking at WebOf
I've
for
got
for some like good books to invest in.
they're awesome. I mean, some of the artwork on web of is freaking
Yeah, it
cool.
is
Look at this
good.
cover. It's so cool.
Even WebOf One is an underrated book.
Oh, so good. I
And it's
recently
only like you can get them for $20, but they're
Yeah, I
so
recently bought
so
a
good.
high grade web one because the one copy I had was kind of like a seven or something,
Yeah.
and more so because it had not surface staining but some browning, and so what I found a really nice copy for like 25. I was like, I'm just gonna get this for me. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I've been selling those lots like that, and I've honestly had them in a pile for you for button books. Like these were destined for literally
Buttons.
the trash, and I think I've made $300 this year on books from those bins that I had allocated as
Buttons.
yeah, as buttons. So that's been an interesting thing that I found. I have two more of those lots, of Batman one and an X-Men one to post. Um, and then the I ended up doing really well on um, some Golden Age lots that I bought, cartoon Golden Age books that I bought from an older lady here in town. They weren't in great shape either, but they're Golden Age lots.
Yeah,
And
Golden Age is, it's acceptable to be pretty low grade.
yeah, and so I had a lot of 35 books, I think, that ended up going for $71, and another lot of mostly Dell 4 colors that sold for 58. So 71 and 58, what's that? A buck 29. And
Mm-hmm.
in the same lot, I got a kind of a mid-grade uh, uh, Dell 4 color that was the first appearance of, who was it? Not Snagglepuss. The first appearance of oh my God, one of our cartoon
Yeah.
characters. And I sold that for 55. And then I had a very low grade Wonder Woman 99 that I sold for 26 or something. So I bought absolutely everything for $36, which included four vintage Christmas glasses and a styrofoam cooler and the
So are
book.
these buy it nows or auctions?
I had them as buy it nows, yeah. Oh, actually, sorry, the second lot, no, both the Golden Age lots were auctions, but the mid-grade lots that I'm selling, I have them as buy it nows with best offers. And I've all, allows me the ability to accept best offers, obviously, but I'm selling most of them at full price anyway, which is kind of crazy.
That's good.
Yeah. So those are not the things that are going to get me rich, but in kind of stemming the tide, I'm sure you've noticed too, aside from like those heritage auctions where the giant heritage auction where price didn't matter because if you got $900,000 to buy a comic book, you've got that year round. But you know as well as I do, even during some of these less lean times, the last couple of years, you know, this economy is squeezing the middle class. So January's even in 21 and 22 are sorry, 22 and 23 January's were pretty slow on eBay.
Yeah.
And then they bounce back. But that's what my experience was. I did all right
Well,
on
it's
eBay.
always January and February because that's when everybody's paying off their Christmas bills.
Yeah,
So it's
credit.
always
Yeah.
slow. It'll pick up in March and April when
Yep.
people start getting their tax returns back, and
Yep.
then everybody's gonna start buying again. So
100%. Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
so
January and February is a bad time to sell books.
yeah, this con will be kind of right on that cusp. It'll be 24th and 25th January. So definitely in time for a lot of people to have already gotten the people who did their returns early to
Mm-hmm.
get those returns back.
Yeah.
But it was a good show last year, and it was the same kind of time frame last year. But I have that one, and I have the Wellsboro on my calendar again for August. But I'd like to get at least four more cons on my calendar for this year, and try
Yeah.
try and do something new. If I do the Pittsburgh one again, I just have to be much better prepared than I was, and I was ill prepared because I didn't realize how important like a wall or a half wall was. I didn't
Right.
realize, how important it was to have my graded product, my better graded product, to have, a dozen or so books in that $100 to $500 range, because those are the books that if you price them right can really make your show.
Sure.
And then it makes it actually much easier to offload a bunch of dollar books if you get a halfway decent offer, because you're not kind of like licking your wounds at that point.
Yeah.
You're just saying like, hey, I did pretty good, and why don't I do a little bit better by moving some of this weight.
I may be doing the Oaks show in March, depending on when Alex's baby's born.
For cards.
Well, I could technically sell because last time I was there, there were two guys that sold comics, so I technically could sell cards and comics at the same
Yeah.
table. But he asked me if he, for any reason, could make it. It's a 3 day show.
Yeah.
That if I wanted his table for him, I told him, yeah, I'll take it.
Well, you have to let me know. When do you know when is it?
It's the second week of March.
You know that's 15 minutes from our mom's, if that.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, so that was something I'd love to come down, and I could even come down and help you at the table
That'd
for
be
a bit,
great.
like,
Yeah,
or not for a bit, for a day or 2 days if you wanted it,
sure.
because it'd be fun
It's
to
a cool show.
yeah.
I did it. Not only that, it's an autograph show too. There's like Cole Hamels was there.
That's got to be a big
Jimmy
show,
Rollins.
like
Is a big show.
250 table kind of a deal.
It's a big
Yeah,
show. Definitely an expo show.
yeah,
Lots of tables.
yeah.
He doesn't have the biggest booth. It's like a tiny little U where it's like he had an 8 footer and a 6 footer, and then like a little table with his chair like squeezed in the corner. It's very tiny space. But
That
I would
that's
not I would not set it up the way he set it up. But
it's an odd shaped booth then, or is it just that the footprints are like they're sold as like 7 by 10s or something odd like that?
it's in, not wide. So it's like you're not setting up two 8 footers across a space. It's
Yeah,
actually like it's an in. So I don't know what it's like, maybe 10 feet in by 6 feet across, something like that, like a 10 by 6. But it's
so he set it up so that the folks could walk in
you
and
walk
around and
in and you
stuff.
have a table on either side of you, and he had his chair and a tiny table at the very back.
Because
So it's like
he couldn't set it up. He couldn't get enough real estate so he could be behind the table, right?
no, because if you did it that way, then you exclude the rest of it.
Yeah,
So it's like you couldn't do a table in front because then you got nothing behind it. Then you're
yeah,
basically just giving yourself a 6 footer in the
yeah,
front. He had it configured the right way. He was. I wouldn't have put the table in the back. For
yeah,
me, I'll just put like a comic stand like in the
yeah.
back if I get it.
See,
But
that's interesting because when I did that Pittsburgh show last year, like a dummy,
yeah,
I didn't think about being in a middle booth and be bracketed uh by guys with walls. And so day one I couldn't figure out how to really configure
yeah,
because I had a 6 footer across the front and I couldn't actually do a 6 footer with two 6 footers behind it, which would have walkways on either side because the walkways were only going to be 2 foot and 2 foot.
right.
And then I would have to actually crawl under the table to get inside the U, right? So like it would have been super, super tight.
You know what you should do? Because this is what I was gonna do the last time I did the flea market was, so if you leave a table in the middle
Yeah.
and then alternate each box facing opposite directions,
Yeah,
then
they
they
can go
can
down
go
there.
on either side and not be shoulder to shoulder
Yeah.
trying to squeeze. Because if you have all the boxes faced the same way, obviously you have to one person and nobody can be in that next one.
Yeah.
But if you alternate them, then you have a box in the middle buffer, and
Yeah.
you can have guys on either side going through the boxes.
So on this next show, the one I'm doing in February, I made sure I got a corner.
There
I
you
had to
go.
pay like an extra $50 for a
Yeah,
corner,
that's
but
perfect.
like
Yeah,
it allows me to do it essentially allows me to do this. Like it allows me to have all this frontage on the out. Well, you can't see
can't
that.
see it. It's whited out. Yeah,
So it allows me to have all that frontage on the outer edge, right? So I can have literally, I can
Mm-hmm.
do a 6 footer, and then my table's 30 inches deep. So that's what is that? Eight and a half feet of straight short
Mm-hmm.
boxes
Sure.
facing outward. So I can literally get probably 12 short boxes facing outwards for people to dig here on
Mm-hmm.
this outer edge and do those as dollar boxes. And then the stuff I really want to make sure I'm watching, my priced books
Yeah.
across the front like that.
Excuse
And
me.
then I have enough space to come off of that and do a 6 footer going back. I can still creep around the back, but then I have another, essentially another 8.5 foot with an aisle for
Mm-hmm.
people to walk down, and it's comfortably, it's enough space, right? So that's the thing I'm going to do for this show. It just gives me a lot more versatility. And then um, I may have my friend make me another half wall if I
Yeah.
have enough books. I think if I feel like I have like 40 or 50 wall books, I'll buy another 6 foot table, and I'll have two small walls in the back, and make sure that they're not, people can't reach over and grab books or anything like
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
But at least I'm showing the kind of quality of the books, right? So yeah, so I'm excited about it. I'm going to do a lot of do a lot of layouts, like a lot of layouts, like in this kind
Yeah.
of model where I'm just drawing out my squares, right? And probably the easiest thing to do is make a scale of like a little square and then 6 foot tables and just drop them in
Yeah. Sure.
different configurations.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's
yeah, I'm
hard to
excited.
visualize it, so you have to like almost create little miniatures just so you can picture it.
Yeah, even in Photoshop, right? If I make
Yeah,
a
I've
make a square
done
with
that a
a
thousand times. I've even printed out on my laser engraver like little like tables and things
yeah.
just to see what it looks like, just to visualize it.
So I'm excited about it. But yeah, so to your point, a half an hour ago after I started rambling, before I started rambling, that's my goal. Is my goal is to move as much product as possible. So I'm sitting on not a war chest, but that I've got 2 G's. I'm always carrying 2 grand.
Yeah.
If that's 2 grand between cash and my business checking, at least I have, I'm liquid so that because as I said on the January 8th, I want to have a bit of a war chest so that I can get the vinyl graphics on the back of my vehicle. So around town, that person's going to call me because they're gonna
Yeah.
see when they go into Wegmans or when they're behind me in traffic or something like that. They're going to see me. Another reason for you to visit, by the way, is uh, the first new card shop in like 25 years opened this week in
Oh
State
yeah.
College. Yeah. Uh,
Nice.
so the fellow was the general manager of the minor league baseball team on campus for a number of years, and his wife is the head soccer coach, I think, at
Oh, that's kind of
Penn
nice.
State. And so yeah, so he opened this Nittany Cards Plus. So I'm pretty excited to check that out this weekend. Hopefully, we'll get to stop in there and check that out. He's not doing comics or anything like that, but I want to support somebody
You never
hobbyist.
know though. You might find himself. He gets a. It starts with one little long box in the corner, and
Well, funny enough, so if I go out my apartment and I look to the left, there's a big municipal like water retention pond, right?
yeah.
Beyond that, there's a strip shopping center that's kind of had fallen on hard times, like a lot of those strip shopping centers they are. But the commercial real estate agents that are responsible for that property, they co-work out of Launchbox, my work. And I was one of we had a guest speaker come in and talk to our group last week. Um, he's a social media strategist, or I'm sorry, not a social media strategist. He's like a digital marketing strategist. And he didn't know anything about me liking comics, but he happened to mention that the card store was opening because I guess he's a like a TCG enthusiast, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, and a buddy of mine, he's even opened a comic shop, and I was like, what did you say? So he said that there's a guy across the street from me where I can walk to that's going to open a comic shop in the
That's cool.
fall. And the first thing I said to him was, Josh, like, I don't know if you know this, but I have a side hustle selling comics. He's like, really? He's like, well, I told my buddy it's a terrible idea to open a brick and mortar here. And I was like, if I knew your buddy, I'd tell him the same exact thing.
So good.
I was like, we're in a bit of a desert here, so he's gonna have to make sure that he's very active on selling online, because just a brick and mortar, as much as I'd love it for at least the first couple months of having specials and stuff like
It's gonna
that,
be tough for him.
it's going to be tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because the two that are in the area, the one that's already in State College has been around for 40 plus years. They have adapted their business model to change with the times. So
So
their
he's
current
sell he's got
business,
an online presence.
their current business model is no back issues. They order for monthly subscribers, and they have tons of manga and trade paperbacks
That's what the
because
Flemington guy does. That
we have a
Flemington guy.
humongous international student population. So there's students who are monthly
Yeah, they
readers,
love
and then
manga.
there's students who love trade paperbacks. Like they read it and for
Yeah,
art and stories.
Rick's manga section has tripled since he's finally figured out that they love that shit.
Yeah.
They love it. I mean, they
So
can easily just go to the Borders. I mean, Borders or Barnes and Noble, whatever.
yeah,
Borders, they have all that stuff, and he's selling it whatever the price is on the back of the book. So it's
yeah,
not like he's making anything more than they are.
sure, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they love manga. But
So
yeah, brick and mortar is tough. It's
it's
tough.
exciting. It's exciting for the short term. Um, uh, it's a little bit. This is a bigger reason why I want to really get this started where I have money to move, because there's going to be comic collections that end up going to that guy,
That's true.
because he's in town, and I
That
want
is
to.
the one benefit of having a brick and mortar. Like
Yeah.
Rick is a beacon for people wanting to get rid of their stuff.
Now you stopped working there, right? You stopped your nights.
It's
Do,
just too much, man. I just
have you have you heard? Has he really gotten many great collections,
I mean, I
or
just bought a collection for him. A guy came in with a bunch of like new Doctor Strange runs, but
okay?
he had the first appearance of Nightwing. I said, "I'll give you $10 for everything." He's like, "Okay." And I was like, "Rick, you bought a collection." He's like, "What did you buy?" I said, "I just bought this. It's the first Nightwing." He's like, "I got it for $10. You could probably sell it for 80. So have fun." I was like, "Whatever." I was like, "You'd sell it for more if you let me grade it for you." He's like, "Nah." I'm like, "That's fine. Whatever."
Yeah, that Nightwing book has done the old roller
It
coaster.
has, but it's the four. He's got the whole. It's the 4 book run of the
The
trial, the
the Judas
Jericho, yeah,
the
the
Judas yeah,
Judas trials or whatever.
yeah.
So he's got all 4 issues. So he's gonna sell it as a complete run with the Nightwing on the front. And Nightwing is it part 1,
No, I think it's part
3?
3. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 of
What is it
4.
called? The Judas Contract?
The
Is that what?
Judas, yeah, something like that. The Judas contract. I
Yeah.
always get it confused with the later run, which is the Jericho trials, but it's
It's
not the same.
very it's I find that New Mutants might be the or not New Mutants, the
Teen Titans.
Titans might be the most confusing, because
It's so
like
confusing.
there seem I don't know if they were concurrent, but there's one that's like Teen Titans, and then there's one that's the
The new
new
Teen
adventures
Titans.
of the Teen Titans or
Yeah.
whatever. They're like almost concurrent runs, and so or at least they're very close. You typically can tell by the trade dress.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
the new Teen Titans, that's the Perez run, right? They're all
so
kind of George Perez, aren't they?
yes, that's
Yeah, I
the
mean, so yeah.
that's the thing. Remember when we were talking about what
Yeah.
volume of Wonder Woman the Hughes books were, because it's only like volume 2, and you were like, it's got to be volume
It's
5 or
gotta be,
something.
yeah, because well, Wonder Woman's Wonder Woman, and then Wonder Woman. There's the Perez Wonder Woman, which is the Millennium books. That's got to be volume 2, but no, it was so
That
weird.
that is volume 2, but they run, because Hughes is doing the his covers, I guess, in probably the late 90s or early
Yeah,
2000s, and the only I don't know that the Perez run ever was like Wolverine, where it was like a twice monthly book. It was probably a monthly book, so you're
yep,
just talking about 12 issues per year.
yeah.
So. To get to issue 150 is going to take, what is that, 13 years. So, even if it starts at 82, we're talking about 95 by the time it gets to there.
Yeah, true.
And then Hughes is doing those books later than that. So, well, that's kind of what's going on right now.
Yeah, me too.
You got, how did you feel how did you feel I never even asked you when you pressed the first Guy Gardner, how do you feel it turned out?
All your books responded really well.
Yeah,
Everything did, and including the something's killing the children. That pinch in the middle came right out.
really.
Hmm.
But it was color breaking, wasn't it?
I mean, it might have had some color break on the very tip of it, but as far as it going, a quarter of an inch into the book,
Yeah.
it's gone now.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, I
so
think I don't. I think I'll only be disappointed if it's a 9.4 or lower. I anticipate it being a 9.6, but I guess
I mean,
I mean,
I'm predicting a 9.6 only because the top and the bottom corners were pretty clean.
yeah,
Um,
the whole cover was really clean aside from that.
yeah, and Image has good paper.
Yeah,
The only books that make better books is Scout Comics. They make really they're super clean. The
yeah,
paper's very rigid. Whoever their press is, they don't make a whole lot of printing mistakes. Like there's Scout Comics makes a really clean book, but Image does too. Like Image makes good books.
yeah,
DC's still using shitty paper, and Marvel's not much better.
yeah.
So it's tough. I can imagine it being pretty tough. Like Rick gets the books in all the time. They're damaged from Penguin and from Looney.
Yeah, it is shocking that if you go look at the new the issues all right out of the distributor box on the shelf,
Yeah, they're shit.
like,
They're
and
garbage.
how many of them have that bindery schmutz at the top,
Yeah.
and the fact that we got back my New Mutants 98, and that hurt it by like 5 grades, that thing. So
I know.
so yeah.
Yeah,
um
it's funny too because he'll get his low print run variants, and they're packed in with the rest of them. So you have like your 1 in 50s, your 1 in 100s, 1 in 25s. They're just as damaged as the rest of them, and it's like,
yeah, it's it's
are you gonna
frustrating.
replace these? Or you're just gonna give me my money back because
Right.
I had to buy 50 of them to get this stupid book, and it's damaged. Like,
Right. Right. You're not going to get you're not going to get that ratio price for a new book that's damaged.
Rick used to have a guy that bought them no matter what, but he moved. He moved to Florida, so he doesn't buy those books anymore.
Yeah.
He used to always he'll buy anything, whatever. We always called him Horse Guy because he worked at a horse stable. But he would literally buy anything. He'd buy like $100 one per store with a damaged spine, and he'd buy it anyway because it's a one per store. He didn't care.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But he doesn't have that guy anymore, and I
Yeah.
don't. And he knows that I don't. If it's got damage, I'm not touching it. And he
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
puts stuff in my mailbox. I'm like, Rick, I don't. This is damage.
It's
I don't want it.
it's a modern.
And he's like, ugh. I was like, what's the point? I'm paying. What's the point of having a damaged book in my collection?
Yeah.
Like you said, there's 50 others. Like you couldn't have picked one that didn't have damage.
Yeah.
You're trying
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that frustrated Jimmy too, because I guess Jimmy, for I don't know if we ever had a pool for the Adam Hughes books, but that he was like, oh, I looked at all 7 copies, and all 7 copies had
That's
something wrong with
yeah. It's
them.
not Rick's fault, but
Yeah, no, no, and he never said it was, but
sure. Especially if you're like, I have him pull all the Scotty Youngs
yeah,
and all the John Tyler Christophers. So like, I only get there's only 1 or 2 chances of it not being
yeah,
damaged. So
yeah.
whatever I get, I get. But
And if you don't get in there the day they come out, what's the chances of there being another issue on the shelf
and I
still?
and I don't anymore. So
They're gonna
like
get gobbled up. Yeah,
sometimes I'm coming in 2 weeks after,
right.
and I'm just buying 3 weeks worth at a time because I don't have the time to do that anymore. And
Yeah.
I just had to say a lot of no. I'm happy to do it now. I think I took the bull by the horns and be like I just started saying no to a lot of people.
I gotta tell you that it's crazy how many like potentially great card collections are coming up in my area on Marketplace and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it's funny because it's like some of it is already what you and I talked about 2.5 years ago. Some of it's already the COVID collectors who are, trying to get rid of this stuff. And then others are like almost like people who are late to the game. Like maybe they finally watched something or finally saw something on Dateline about the
Mm.
resurgence of sport cards, even though we're now in a lull again, and now they're getting out their collections.
Yeah. I
It's
gotta look at your
really,
friend's collection too. I just don't even think it's worth five anymore.
yeah,
I would be hard pressed to say three.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Everything's dropped significantly, and I don't know how to tell this guy, and he won't part with it. If I tell him, listen, the market's down, I can only give you three, he'd be like, well, I'm gonna hold on to it then.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and that's that.
Yeah, it's interesting because
But yeah, you're right. But sadly though, all those collections are people, excuse me, getting out of the market are gonna have just modern basketball crap that I don't want. Like everybody, there's so many people with just I can't stand basketball. I don't know how to tell guys like this whole box of football is garbage. It's quarterback or nothing. Like I don't. Nobody wants a Justin Jefferson anything. Like it doesn't matter.
it is crazy, isn't
They
it?
want Mahomes. That's it. Like Mahomes, not even Josh Allen. There's no market for him. It's like it's Mahomes and nothing, and whatever hot rookie at the time is. But do you want a Bryce Young card? I sure don't.
Yeah.
It's like people spending 100K on it. Kenny Pickett. Guess what? He's QB3 now. Nobody
Yeah.
wants a Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You know, you spent all that money on Justin Fields, or Jordan Love, or Mac Jones, and guess what? They're not even starting anymore.
Speaking of, how do you feel about your Niners?
I feel
Uh,
good. I feel
yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
This is not the KC team that beat us 3 years ago. These guys are.
This is true, but I feel like your Niners actually should have lost both of the last two weeks.
Jason, it was not. It was not easy to
They
watch.
they actually got outplayed by the Packers, and the Packers dropped two picks that hit them directly in the chest. Either one of those is caught, even if the guy kneels down, game over for the Niners. And then they lost. They won this week because there was a team who clearly realized they were at a moment which they didn't know how it was too big for them. Like
It's
all of a
too big
sudden,
for Campbell too. Like
yeah,
he
all
made
of a
some
sudden
questionable coaching
their butt
decisions.
cheeks clenched up, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh my God, where?"
But like I said to somebody, like that fourth down call by Campbell, he wins. He's a genius, but
Yeah. Oh
he
no.
didn't. So everybody questions him. But
And which was really bull crap because
it
like
is.
what he's done is still there.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, he brought that team out of the swamp and turned them
out of
into.
the swamp. And they're
So
freaking super young and they're
yeah,
super talented.
yeah. In
I mean,
fact, the running back, what's his name?
Jamar Gibbs.
Gibbs.
Yeah.
This is his rookie year. Amon
Is
Ross St. Brown is his third year.
it
I
Jamar?
think it's his third year.
Jameer Gibbs, right?
Yeah,
And then
it's his
Laporta's a
rookie year.
rookie.
Laporta's a
Freaking
rookie, and he's amazing.
Hutchinson's year two.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
the
they're
oldest guy, the oldest, most important guy on that team is Goff, and he still can do it.
yeah, and to be perfectly honest, man, if there was a quarterback who was a little bit better than Goff, they'd be real scary.
I mean,
Uh,
let's say they go after like a guy like Cousins. I mean, Cousins is not bad. Cousins is
no,
a good
Cousins is a
quarterback.
accuracy machine.
Yeah, so like let's say they go after Cousins and dump Goff, but I think Goff has earned some cachet for at least
Yeah,
a year or two.
Goff made a couple boneheaded plays in the crumble, but more so, I mean, Josh Reynolds dropped two passes.
Yeah,
I mean, just come on, guy.
yeah,
Like you catch either of those passes, it's a first down. That means there's another two
yeah.
minutes of game clock gone.
Excuse me.
It's just so much,
I know.
so stupid. Yeah.
I
So
just, when all is said and done, and now we are in the Super Bowl, I do like our chances against this
yeah,
KC team. But
yeah,
KC likes to be the underdog, so they proved it in Buffalo, they proved it in Baltimore.
yeah. The one thing that's different about this Casey team is, the one thing that clearly doesn't. The one way that you actually apparently can stop the Niners offense is by really rushing them. Actually, rushing them and being able to tackle. It was
True.
scary how bad the tackling was in the final weeks of the playoffs. I was like, guys, you're supposed to be the best teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
Nobody can tackle. It's actually kind of scary.
Just watching a whole season of Purdy, he's just got such a long delivery that he really telegraphs where he's going. It's
Yeah,
kind of the thing that Baker Mayfield like is not good at. Like he's got such a long delivery and the ball just kind of floats and he doesn't really like zip it in there and you're just like, "Oh my god, this is going to get picked off." It's like,
I
"Oh
don't
my
know.
god, this is going to get picked off."
I don't know why. Like I'm so like anti Brock Purdy.
Are you?
I just think it's like I think it's the fact that people are like equating like some of the statistics more so to him rather than the fact that like every guy he throws to is a beast.
I
They're
mean, if you
they're
have
saying like
if you have
9.5 yards per completion. This was actually in the same game. They highlighted his yards per attempt, right? And then they showed the top 10 yards after catch of the entire NFL, not just NFC, but the top 10 yards after catch, and four of them were
yeah.
49ers.
Well, Debo is the master of yak yards.
Oh my God.
He is the master of turning a 5 yard pass into a 30 yard pass.
And then they showed like 70 some stupid number like 74% of all of his pass attempts were either behind the line of scrimmage or within 3 yards of the line of
Well, you got
scrimmage.
McCaffrey in the flat, and that dude can turn anything into
And
something.
everything that Debo catches is a slant
Yeah.
basically across the middle.
Even use
Um,
even Juszczyk, the fullback, like
yeah,
he turns little things into big things. But
yeah.
Ayuk and Debo are masters of it, and so is Kittle. Like Kittle
And
is
so
just a
still, yeah.
tight end. He turns like 10 yard passes up the middle into like 40 yard bombs. Like
And, and then
they're very good at that. They've always been good at that.
And then what's his face? What's his face actually in the game against Green Bay after Debo goes down? What's his face is probably their most important receiver in that game.
Ayuk, yeah.
No, no, the kid who's replaced Debo.
Not Williams.
What's the other?
Shit.
He makes the two huge catches
Yeah.
in
Norman.
the no. What is his name?
Yeah. What is his name?
You know what's hilarious? I keep thinking Michael Crabtree, a guy who's been
I
out
know.
of the league for a bunch of years. But yeah,
Whatever happened to him?
it's like if you have that kid, I forget what that kid's name is, but he's like your fifth option. I was like, that's a pretty solid fifth option,
Yeah.
or sixth option if you want to include him behind use
I mean,
checks.
Ayuk has always done well when Debo goes down.
He's
Like Ayuk
well,
is always he picks
Ayuk
it up.
is a beast
He's a
too. You know,
good player.
he can catch
He's got some
anything.
swagger.
Yeah. So, anyways, it should be a pretty good Super Bowl.
It'll be a good
Um,
game.
I can't imagine what's going to happen if the Chiefs win again, though. I mean, that'll be three in his first 6 years, and
He's on his way to Brady numbers.
I mean, he is really on his way to Brady numbers with the kind of freakish athleticism that Brady never even remotely
I mean,
had.
there's what two guys with four, Bradshaw, Montana, and then Brady with seven,
Yeah.
and he'll already be at three. Who's got three?
Well, Roethlisberger would have two.
Roethlisberger had two. How many does Aikman have? Two.
No, Aikman would have three.
Aikman had three.
They won three times. Steve Young only has one,
Steve
right?
Young only had the one. Rogers
Uh,
has one. Favre
Elway
has
has
one.
Elway
Has
has
two.
two, or
Manning, well, he had won the two at the Broncos. The two at the end of his career. He retired after the second one.
okay.
Peyton
And then
has two. Eli has two.
yeah, Peyton has two. Eli has two. Staubach would have
Two.
several. Right?
Two.
It's just two.
Yeah, because the Cowboys have five. So if Aikman has three,
Okay.
Staubach
Okay.
has
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
Because the Niners have six and the Steelers had six.
Yeah. And
Right?
Marino never won one. Warren
Marino
Moon
never
never won
won
one.
one. But he had his
Uh,
chance in '84, right? Didn't he make the? He
yeah.
lost the Super Bowl in '84.
Yeah. Yeah. His rookie year.
What's that?
His rookie year.
Yeah, his rookie year, where he passed for what 4,000 yards for the first time. Nobody's ever done
Five,
that.
five, 5,000.
5,000
Yeah.
yards. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Breeze only had one.
Breeze has one.
Uh, you think about the great quarterbacks.
I know.
Rivers didn't win any.
Rivers didn't win
Um,
any.
um, Yeah,
And
so
Matt
yeah,
Ryan didn't win any.
um, the 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 Ravens won those quarterbacks with or won those with Trent Dilfer and Joe Flacco,
Hmm.
because they had like five Hall of Fame defensive players on the same teams
Yep.
and a couple offensive studs too. Yeah, and I guess what? Kurt Warner has two, right?
No, he has one. He was in two.
In two. Okay,
He was in the Cardinals, and he was in
greatest show on turf.
the Rams. He won the one, which he
Yeah,
should have won more than one. That one
yeah,
against the Patriots, he should have won. Yeah,
right. That was.
quarterbacks with most Super Bowl wins all time.
Did we get them all? Is the
Brady
question.
7, Bradshaw 4, Montana
Cool.
4, Aikman
I bet.
3,
I
Mahomes
bet.
2.
Did we forget?
The
Did we
only
forget
one we forgot,
Kenny
three
Kenny
guys we
Stabler?
forgot.
Kenny Stabler?
No, three
Who's
guys we
the
forgot.
who's
Greasy,
the
Bob Greasy with 2,
okay?
Plunkett with 2.
Oh, he's the Raiders quarterback, not
Yeah,
yeah,
not Stabler, and
Stabler, yeah.
Bart Starr with 2. So those early Packer teams, because I
Yeah.
think Lynn Dawson's got 1. Does Tarkington even have 1? The Vikings won 1 back then, didn't they?
Yeah, Mahomes has
Mahomes
two
has 2.
and has been in what
He's been in
three
3.
three Super Bowls, and
Yeah, because
so
he lost the last one to the Eagles,
now four now
right?
four.
The,
No,
oh, the Eagles beat the Patriots.
Eagles beat Brady, yeah. So he lost to the Tampa Bay, didn't he? He lost to Brady
Oh,
and Tampa.
right. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's a lot of guys with 2. Well, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9 guys with 2, and then Aikman with 3. Yeah. Staubach has 0 too. Aikman with 3, Montana with 4, Bradshaw with 4, and Brady with 7. Unbelievable.
It is crazy.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got them all but 3. Not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, Bart Starr we probably should have gotten, but is also
Bart
you
Starr, we should have gotten. Yeah.
is old, and I was at the end there. I was on the Raiders tip, but I
Yeah.
just got wrong. Wrong.
Wrong
Uh,
Raider.
yeah. Uh,
Anyway. All
yeah.
right,
So
man.
yeah. All right, bro. Well,
Good
let's
talking to you.
hopefully we can get another one of these in before
Yeah, I
before
definitely like to pick this up on the regular again.
yeah help the algorithm. If
Help the
nothing
algorithm.
else.
I mean, it's my fault too. I haven't uploaded video in a long time. And then towards the end, it was like 6 Pokemon videos in a row, so that didn't help. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. All
All
right,
right.
brother.
Well,
Yeah, good talking to you, man.
somebody's watching, so good night, that individual.
Yeah, good night, that
Thank you so
individual.
much for hanging in with
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Until next time, right?
See you next time.
All right, see you, bro.
All right, brother. Later.